Hey everybody, we're back with more Final Fantasy 15 Comrades.
I foresee great things on your horizon.
You know what we're doing, guys. If you watched the last episode, we're not doing this one. We keep the eye on that one. Embarrassingly. So we're gonna just do this one for a while. Probably till 9 and then try to see if we can get one for 9.
I wish you a safe return.
Safe journeys. Let's kick it off here. Let's go. It's last few episodes have been the same recording session. It's pretty late or pretty early in the morning here right now. But yeah, I'm just knocking these out. Playing through it, trying to get it done. Playing some Final Fantasy. Alright, we're going in. We're going in. Kind of a foregone conclusion. We're not going to fail this one. It's just the grind. That's all it is. I think we need 876 XP to get to level 9. Now we can move on to another quest here. One that we need to open up some story here, preferably. We could try that level 13 escort quest, maybe. It's an escort quest. Yep. Jenica. Getsuko and Jenica. Bother to see what level the guys are now. Probably all 6 or 7. I'll have to check this out next time. Sure, we can check it out now, but it's not big of a deal. No, am I supposed to block this? Probably. And then he stops doing it. That's cool. Cool, it makes sense. Good story. Last episode we were talking about some classic games. Classic video games. I was trying to guesstimate how many games I've probably played in my life. Most, I'd say, it's not special anyway. I'm not trying to say like, oh, I've played thousands of video games. I mean, most gamers have played thousands of video games. Most gamers that are older, right? Ones that aren't in their teens. Even the ones, there's some in their teens that probably have played thousands. But if you're a gamer for, you know, since you're 5 or whatever, and you get to be older in age, such as myself, you'll play thousands and thousands of video games. They used to say games rot your brain, but that's true. I basically got mush upstairs. Come on. I mean, that did look like mushy brain syndrome right there, just happening. I'm excited to see where it goes. I mean, I look back at the games I played when I was a kid. You know, when kids today are my age, it's gonna be nuts for them. I don't know, you know, even if it just gets slightly better. Which it could get, I mean, potentially could get worse too. Nothing that says it has to keep improving. There is some consistency with Moore's Law, but that is slowing down a little bit. If you're not familiar with Moore's Law, it's like the CPU manufacturers, computer chips, they double the amount of transistors they can fit on a given chip. I think it's every 2 years it's supposed to happen, and it was pretty consistent up until about 4 years ago, 3 years ago. I think the next one, Intel's got one. I don't know if AMD has one as well. Probably. But anyway, the next one's not supposed to happen until 2022. Not because they can't, but it fiscally doesn't make sense to do it right now. There's no consumer need for it, and to produce it at the level that they need to for the cost they need to recoup, it just doesn't make sense to do it. But they can do it. They're just... It's not going to until about 2022. When hopefully, when everything, and I think the practicality of everyone needing it, we're going to be doing a lot more cloud-based stuff in the not too distant future, where you want to process stuff coming in a lot quicker than you are right now, because you're going to be reading in the data on the fly. There won't be... Well, I don't know. Actually, I don't know how that's going to work, but there's supposedly some interesting applications that you would want to need it for 2022. There might be a market for it, basically.
Glad you made it back.
So yeah, but if it stays on that trend, I mean, games should get better.
Dinner is served.
Graphics cards have been getting better.
It's hard
It stalled
to
out a little
recreate
bit.
the taste of home, but I make do with the seasonings I have.
Make do with the seasonings you get. You know, I don't know. I don't see the industry collapsing anytime soon. They've tons of money being pumped into it. Who knows? But they should be getting better games. More interesting things, and especially
The talk of the town, kid.
as much crap as
barely
we like
keep
to
up with
give,
you.
or I like to give, the Nintendo Wii for doing
A fine choice.
a motion
Take
control
care out
system
there.
and not innovating on graphics. I mean, it was so disappointing to play like... they did innovate some on graphics. I mean, graphically the games did get better on the Nintendo Wii. But they went with the hardware route. They tried to think outside of the box. And a lot of those... The graphics are, you know, people can make realistic graphics. I mean, we're not limited by that. We're more or less limited by the ability to render them quick enough. So the hardware's got to get better. And that takes some innovation that we're not there. We'll eventually get there, for sure. Someday. So there's a lot of room to be made in peripherals and other areas. So I think Nintendo saw that, and that's why they decided to go with the motion controls. And that's why they did the Switch. And, so there's a lot of room to grow there. And that'll become cheaper, right? As next, you know, especially with the next chip coming out, with double the transistors, these ones will get cheaper. These the hardware will get cheaper to make. You just essentially got plastic molds with these real cheap chips in them that can do just about what a modern computer can do. Man, I don't have the timeline for this, but it's probably gonna happen quicker than you think. You're just paying for like a plastic mold, and yeah, I don't know. It's exciting. A lot of room to be gotten there quickly, and that was largely ignored for some technical reasons. I mean, if you look back, there was the Power Scope for the SNES, and the Power Glove maybe even earlier, right? Which was just hot garbage. I mean, maybe I didn't understand how it worked, but if you ever owned a Power Glove, they were pretty garbage back in the day. So Nintendo has always been kind of thinking about that kind of stuff. And we've got a lot of room to go there. So I think it's why we had the Oculus, or virtual reality, Valve Index, Oculus, the HoloLens, maybe to a lesser degree. I don't really know how the HoloLens is doing. I say to a lesser degree just because I don't have one. But I think it's pretty sweet, and there's a lot of cool stuff there. But the technology's finally catching up to be able to support that hardware. I don't know. And not just the tech, the cheapness of the manufacturing too. I mean, if you can, just because you can make it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be, you can actually sell it to people. Yeah, so I don't know. Who knows what's on the horizon? But if the games get slightly better, which they will, in some way or shape, I'm excited to see what's on the horizon. We're hitting 9 this, I think this one. Level 9. I have high hopes for the HoloLens, actually. Artificial reality. Everything I'm seeing from AR is not... I mean, VR just does it better, I think, currently. I've never tried the Google Glass, and really, that's probably the ideal application for AR right now. It's just giving data out quickly. But then you got things like Neuralink, which, you know, I used to have a lot of faith in what Neuralink was doing. Or, not really faith, but I bought into some of the hype. But I think a lot of where a lot of their focus is at, which could, you know, be useful research to do stuff later. And I think when Elon promotes it, he kind of thinks that way. But I think a lot of it's simple stuff to help people, which is already being done right now. I mean, it's, but being done in a different way to help people with disabilities be able to function normally. Like we already have kind of solutions for that, and he's trying to integrate it into this brain interface with a computer, which I think they can do already for some degree. And if you've ever watched a video of how it works, it's kind of interesting what they're doing.
Welcome back.
We basically have like these probes that stimulate certain neurons in the brain. There has to be one probe for each one. That you're basically charging that neuron
Sorry for the wait.
to perform a certain task. And so you're constantly communicating back and forth between the chip and
One can't wage war on an empty
essentially like a
stomach, so
Bluetooth arm or something like that. And those just have to be mapped out correctly. As far as like the other stuff though, like plugging into the internet. I mean, it's the idea is there, but whether we're gonna see that anytime, I don't know. I don't know. I think a lot of that stuff's smoke and mirrors for at least the immediate future. But in the not so distant
You're
future.
the talk of the town, kid. Thanks to those
Put it on here.
photos.
Yeah, 18,000.
Good to see you.
Let's pop it in up here. Thought we needed
We've got the
17
power.
for that. Long on the water. Unless we get some rebate there. And we might as well do that.
It's looking brighter already.
More.
We've got the power.
That finishes the top side outside of 2 actual quests we have to do. Malevolent Marlborough and the Terrible Trent.
Bye now.
Trient.
I foresee great things on your horizon.
Can we do one of those? Definitely can, probably. Level 16. Oh, this one here. That's level 14 though. Yeah, it's still kind of high. We can maybe try this one here. Again, farming this one.
Very well. Do be careful.
I'd be at a decent level to tackle this. Yeah, level 8. Okay. I definitely hit recruit AI, didn't I? Wrong there. It's fine. Okay, so they're all 8 and we get level 9. That's good. Oh, we should hit 9 off the back of this. It seems like it's going to take longer than it actually will to finish this expansion. I mean, it's not going to be short, but parts of me is like, oh, this is going to take like 100 episodes. But which should be okay, right? To some degree. I kind of wonder how the developers of these types of games struggle with balance grinding, or balancing grinding, and you know how long they think the player should be playing a certain thing. I know some cultures just say, hey, grinding is grinding. Just, the more the better. And there's something to that, right? Like, so, I mean, let's say they maybe grind out these hunts maybe 5 times as long. Does that make it a terrible game? Citrus rind. Oh, it's a citrus rind on the ground. Would that make it terrible? Or, I don't know. So they have to find a balance, right? And then it changes for different player bases, right? They're obviously not going to make everybody happy. I don't know. Don't know how they do it. They probably got metrics and stuff that give them some kind of clues as to what they should be doing. Try to take out the, well, you know what? I was gonna say try to take out the small ones, but the big ones could take forever. So maybe we should start working on that one. I felt like I had this this dialogue, or this monologue rather, last time we were in here. Which one to attack first? Straight miss there. Either way, maybe the small ones would be better so we can get the guys on the big one. It's going slower than I want to. This guy's health bar, that's fine. I'm debating. The magic does decent damage. That guy aren't trying to kill some of these guys. See, some people would argue that, and this is why some people don't like these types of games. I totally get it. I totally get if somebody doesn't like Final Fantasy or even RPGs or, yeah. Like right now I'm playing with one hand, right? And I'm gonna finish this. It's not challenging at all. It's grindy. It's a foregone conclusion, so what's the point of it? I understand that argument. I think when I was younger, I used to, be like, "Wow, you just don't understand it." But no, I get it I get it now. Let's say as an adult, I get it, but that's not necessarily true. I think I kind of got it when I was younger too. I just wanted to defend the games that I love, with every fiber of my being. Yeah, and I don't know. I totally get it though. And those are fair arguments to make about RPGs. There's the occasional tough fight, but you do it really more for like, it's kind of like if you wanted to read a fantasy book, but you didn't want to. I'm not a big fantasy reader, really. So I have read a few fantasy books. That tells you how big of a fantasy reader is. I've read a few. You just really enjoy the world a lot, and so it's just being inside of the world, getting an idea of how these people live. It's like reading a fantasy book, but like watching. Kind of. That's the way I look at it. Does the grinding have to be there? Does that add nothing? Maybe not. And I think it's a fair argument if you don't like it for that reason. How do I justify it? Maybe it's just more time to... I don't know. Maybe it's more about putting in a long time to... or a lot of effort to improve the quality of your character. So now he's going to be stronger next fight because he went through this really long fight. Not necessarily hard, but long, where I fought this giant scorpion. My character learned some things, and now he's able to kill it faster next time. And that has some kind of appeal. And I think that has an appeal to most people, most gamers, whether they realize it or not. Because most games use this kind of system now for everything. First-person shooters, you've got a leveling system. experience kind of thing where you get stronger as them. It's not just like, oh, I picked up a new gun. It's like, oh, I've reached level 200. I now have a new perk. And the ones that don't tie it into like game progression, maybe they're trying to appeal to a group that enjoys that style of play. It's been good for the gaming community, I think, overall. As far as drawing in more audiences to different genres. Ghost man. I could have saved him, I guess, but Pinnacle got it. Guys take it forever to kill. So hopefully we'll get to 10 off the back of this, but faster with you guys we probably won't. It's gonna take as long next time. It's weird, I thought we finished this one and we got the supply line opened up, but Quest definitely said finish this and we open up the supply line. I'm certain we did. Are we generating damage multiplier by more hits? Potentially. Oh my god, please die, Scorpion. It's Karlabos. Too tanky. We need a better sword, I think. One that we didn't just hodgepodge together at the end. And then we need another deity blessing. That isn't restoration based. Ha 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 ha. Strange sometimes when I cast restorative spell, there's a sword out there. That's what it's all about. Fail safe if you're spamming, maybe. Perhaps. Oracle Sigil, Healing Light. Not the one we want.
Glad you made it back. Well, let's dig in. I'd be more than happy to cook for you again sometime. It's quite therapeutic.
Did I just take a photo? I don't know what happened there. Who knew? Check our stats here. And see if we got credit for that. We should have. But maybe not. Maybe we didn't. We're level 858 to next level, and we got 5,500 kills. So we need to try to do something else. Nothing there. I know it was there last episode. Was it there in the beginning?
Thanks to those photos.
I can barely keep up with you.
No. Completing this quest will open up a new power supply route. We could try this one, I guess. Feels dangerous, doesn't it? I mean, that one's gonna take forever. This one took forever. Level 10 one. Let's just do snakes on a pine.
Thank you. I wish you a safe return.
Yeah. We'll hit level 9 and we'll adjust from there. It should be getting easier. Finishing this game. So many games. So much to finish. Snakes on a down plane. That's cool. It shows you which side they're on. With their picture on the left and right side of the screen. I've seen those pictures, but I didn't realize it shows you which side they're on. They're on your left or your right coming down. This is not a bad one to farm, actually. It's pretty quick. It's pretty good XP and energy. And we should start doing it much quicker with everybody leveling up here. Like, I feel like my skill is kind of limited by how fast I can actually target and get in to strike the enemy. Like right there, I just missed, so it had nothing to do with my level. But them, on the other hand, they're trained to not miss, so them leveling up is actually pretty big. Pretty good. Get a pretty good. I went on a Curb Your Enthusiasm binge a couple months ago. I watched like the first 3 seasons, first 2 seasons maybe. I don't remember. Like, it wasn't like 2 days, and then I just stopped watching for some reason. That's a really good show. Let's get back into watching it though. It's funny. Pretty good. Not a very good Larry David impression. What actually came out on HBO today, though, was the Call of Cthulhu? Call of Cthulhu. Call of Cthulhu is a game. This is Cthulhu-like series, the new Jordan Peele Cthulhu-like horror series. This looks really interesting. I can't remember what it's called though. Something Town? Anyway, it looks really good. That came out today or yesterday? I think it was yesterday, last night. I did not get to watch it. I can't remember the name of it. You guys know what I'm talking about, though. I'm a little burnt out from watching stuff, to be honest, though. Like, I was talking about this on stream, or the one-off Monday that went up. I watched the entirety of the Umbrella Academy in like 2 days. Basically, I started watching it Friday night and finished Saturday night. It's a ton of TV. It's a really good show, though. Highly recommend that if you haven't seen it. There's so much media to consume nowadays. So much. Which is, you know, just as an aside, I don't know how people feel about this. I know the people in my immediate group of friends and family and stuff like that probably don't agree with me, but I don't think they really see some of the realities. Like, I like sports. I'm a fan of sports. Just cut right to it. I'm a big fan of the Chicago Bears, specifically. I like the Blackhawks, I like the Bulls, I like the Cubs. I'm even cool with the White Sox. And I'm cool with the local teams, too. I'm not from Illinois. But sports, it takes a long time to watch a sporting event. I watch a football game, you know, you're committing 3 to 4 hours for the game that you want to watch. And if you want to watch the whole thing, like all the games, or as many games as you can't watch them all, but let's just say you wanted to watch, you know, whatever was on standard television. That's your whole day. Yeah. And so it's kind of the same thing with baseball and basketball, hockey. And I think with the amount of entertainment and the quality that the entertainment has gotten to over the years, I think professional sports is on the and the availability of it too, like the accessibility. via the internet. I think the popularity of sports is going to die over time. Now, sports is always going to be important to a lot of people. I'm not going to say it's ever going to go away. Professional sports. I just don't. I feel like it's going to dwindle out over the years as a result of
it's hard to recreate the taste of home.
other competing entertainment forms for your time. And there'll still be some people that make a lot of money doing it. Like, I kind of look at it as the same way the music industry. There was a time when there's still a lot of people. There's still not a lot, but there's some people that are still making a lot of money making music right now. But before the internet kind of grabbed a hold of it and made it what it is today, like almost everybody was making money, and it was I would say it was free real estate.
You're
But
the
it was free
talk
real
of the
estate.
town, kid. Thanks to those
I foresee great things on your horizon. Good luck to you.
It's free real estate, Gasman.
What do you say?
But I think the same thing is going to happen to sports as we get catapulted into the next. This further down the timeline. And is that good or bad? I don't really know. I feel bad for some of the young guys that are coming up to try to make their easy payday that worked really hard to be as good as they are at their what they do.
All right, let's light it up.
What kind of got ways to get that one? 3,800 gil. Oh, this one too.
It's looking brighter already.
If I have to go down this whole road here. A new multiplayer quest is now available. Escort New Hope from old Lestallum. I should have saved up to get this one. 9,500 one.
Thanks again.
Do we hit level 10?
Ready to get powered up? Best of luck.
Let's just keep farming here.
Here, have a look.
Go slow, doesn't it? Go slow. Oh, here's a new level 9 one. 3,800 versus 37. Yeah, we can try this one.
Very well. Do be careful.
Oh yeah, I don't see sports. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's going to be probably a multi-billion-dollar industry for many, 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 many years to come. But I feel like it was probably going like this, and now it's going to be going like this. You know what I mean? It's on the downward trend. Right. But I could be wrong about that. I don't think I am, though. I don't believe I am. And I don't know what they would do to... I don't think they can really do anything to try to stay relevant. Because... or as relevant as they once were. Yeah, think about it, like in the 70s when sports... Not 70s, like the 40s. What's happening here? Is this guy leaving without me? There we go. Janica Tobel! When sports was like in their heyday, like in the 40s, 30s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, it was constantly growing, but I mean, it was like the only game in town. Movies were a thing, right? And cable television had just come out in the 90s. Before that, you had 4 channels, right? And you go to the movies and you maybe see like a movie that had a budget of, I don't know, $1 million and it was kind of hokey and then, you know, people are writing stories, right? But you had to go to the library or the bookstore to get it. Video games were not a thing. And you know, your social group was your people in your hometown. Sports just kind of thrived in that environment. And I'm not saying they're not like I still like sports, but just the amount of stuff that's competing here is getting out of hand. That me, you know. It is what it is, though. And I don't really think they can do anything to attract, you know, to maintain that same level of interest. Because it's not like they're gonna make the game more interesting and more people are gonna be like, oh, well, I'm gonna watch this. It's just that they're competing with a bigger pool. Basically, the pie is getting bigger. The pool of the pie is getting bigger, and it's being distributed bigger too. That's all that's happening, guys. Good. That's probably good. I think it's going to be pretty disruptive, though. Like, really disruptive. Because you think about it, sports are, especially for the United States, and I mean, I know other countries, soccer is really big. Like, really big. Like, bigger than our sports. But if you think about collectively what the sports industry is for the United States, you're talking about, I love that I get in the back of this. You're talking about, you know, changing an institution that makes a lot of money for the U.S. and provides a lot of people a lot of opportunities. Well, I say a lot. I mean, it's actually really not that many people, but it is a big. It's create a lot of jobs in there, not just for the athletes, but you know, vendors and designers, and janitorial and security and. Commentators, you know, a lot of jobs involved in that. I don't know, I like talking about this. I think most people don't like talking about these kinds of things or like hearing it because, well, the people I talk to on a regular basis, because they don't like to think of change happening in such a way that it, you know, and a lot of people just don't like change. Scared to change, even though it's happening. Inevitably, they just don't like thinking about it, or talking about it. I don't know. Or they don't think it's true when I'm postulating, which is might be true. I don't see how it could not be true. Personally, like I don't have any empirical evidence. I do have some empirical evidence based on ratings over time for these events. I can't say the camera. Like, I think some things are, you know, like the Super Bowl still gets fantastic ratings in the World Series and things like that. I mean, that's more like a social event than actually people are interested in the sport. And there'll still be fans and stuff. So the evidence supports that, but I think overall the viewership has gone down over the years for your average game. Which you think would be the opposite because the population is getting bigger, but you know, it's not the case. And I think a lot of people are trying to stir controversy up in those mediums to get people interested in it. It's tinfoil hat time. And not the people that you think I'm talking about. Well, maybe it is the people you think I'm talking about. I don't know. I don't really want to dive into it. Give away too much, but yeah, I think they're trying to get people just interested in it in general. I don't know, Mike. I do not have the spades. That's all I can say. I'm kind of at the point in my life where, like, I pretty much, I don't watch any Cubs games, really. I occasionally check the score. I don't watch any basketball games. Or any NHL games. I watch every Bears game I can, or listen to it on the radio. I used to go to, my dad was a big Bears fan, and when he was still alive, we would get anywhere between 2 and 3 games a year. Like, actually go to the stadium and watch a game. Probably for a good 20 years. So I've probably gone to like 60 Bears games or something like that. Maybe 40, anywhere between 40 and 60. Or more. But I found myself today, like, I'll watch every game. I don't have a huge desire to go to the stadium anymore. And if they're losing, like a losing season, not the game. If it looks like they're not a playoff contender, I don't watch anymore because there's things I'd rather do than watch my favorite team lose. You know, that is what it is. I know some of you that hate sports in general are probably like, sports. Who cares about sports? Sports ball. And I totally get that too. I get if you're in that camp. I'm not in that camp, but I sympathize with that camp.
Glad you made it back.
Yeah. Two types of people in this world.
Well, let's dig in.
I totally get where
Rations
both sides are
satisfy
coming from.
one's hunger,
I get why people
but
like
only
sports,
a
and
proper meal can feed
I get why
one's
people roll
soul.
their eyes when people get into sports. I get it. Totally get it. Totally agree with both sides. And I'm not just trying to be diplomatic either. Man, I've been talking about sports for like 20 minutes. 20 minutes. Yeah, I'm excited about the NFL season. If it does happen this year, I don't know if it will. Kind of dating this episode a little bit by talking about it. Like, future, it won't really make sense. Doesn't really. I'm interested in it.
You're the talk of the
I don't
town,
know if it's
kid.
going to happen or
Thanks
not.
to
Though.
those
That's the
votes.
thing.
I can barely keep up with you.
But again, if they
Good luck
lose,
to you.
if the Chicago Bears are not playing well, I just don't.
Which hunt will you join?
I gotta watch The Witcher, and I gotta watch this new Cthulhu show from Jordan Peele. I'm time to watch the Bears stink. I ain't got time for that. We're still level 9, aren't we? This quest wasn't bad. Actually,
Good luck to you.
it's our 4,000. Okay.
Here, have a look.
Seemed easy enough, anyway.
A fine
A little bit
choice.
long,
Take
but-
care out there.
Terrible. I feel like it was easy to do. It was just right in the back of the truck, and my brain was almost completely turned off for the actual gameplay. I was talking about what I was talking about. Who knows what I was talking about? If I knew, well, even if I did know, I don't have the kind of capital to leverage to really take advantage of that information that I'm pretty sure about. I don't know where that capital would go, how you would leverage that. And even though I say I'm sure, I wouldn't be confident enough to
Better not
place that
chocobo
bet.
out on me.
Because if you told me 10 years ago that people would watch, as many people would watch people play a video game tournament in the stadium as a professional baseball game, I would, or a hockey game, probably a hockey game, indoor stadium, I'd have called you a liar. Maybe not 10 years ago, but 15 years ago. I said there's no way, no how. This isn't the Wizard, my friend. This is real life. You just never know what's going to happen. Although we do have some things that tell some things are inevitable. If we really want to get deep here into some weird stuff, and maybe I've talked about the simulation theory on this channel before. It could have been a long time ago, in like February or March. I don't know if episode 90, 98 or whatever this is of Final Fantasy is a good time to talk about it, but why not? Oh, get on the truck! Stop truck! No! Yeah, straight trolling us here. If we believe that Moore's Law stays steady, and I think I talked about Moore's Law, I think it was last episode I talked about it, or maybe the start of this one. I'm in my third episode of recording it. It's kind of all blended together. Because at this point it's really early in the morning. Like, really early. Yeah, so anyway, Nick Bostrom. Bostrom? I think I said his name right. Nick Bostrom? I might have the name wrong. Nick something. Look at Simulation Theory, listen again. It's a Swedish philosopher and think tank guy. I guess what he does for a living now, he works for like a think tank. Whatever that means. I know what it means, but... Anyway, he postulated that if we're ever going to live in a simulation, right, if it's ever possible that we're going to create a simulation, and by us I mean humankind, right, if we expect that we're let me start over. If you expect technology to grow constantly, like we're never going to stagnate, you can conclude that we're eventually going to be able to manufacture a virtual reality that is, or a virtual world that's indistinguishable from our own. Unless we decide as human beings that we don't want to do it, for some reason. We have the resources, the technology, we just decide not to do it. Or we exterminate ourselves before we get that far. But if we can all agree that technology will continue to increase as it has, which is not a guarantee, we could stagnate. That's another possibility.
Keep it up.
But if we assume that it will, and that we decide that we are going to do it, one day, someday in the future we actually do it, it's almost impossible that we're not living in base reality, or that we are living in base reality right now. It's impossible. And I've tried to explain this to some of my close friends and family, and a lot of them don't get it. And it's not that they're people that are proponents of one of the three possibilities where we don't wind up creating virtual worlds. I just actually don't get it. The argument, the logical argument, and that's fine. It takes a second to get your mind around it. And there's some actually really good videos and websites that go into explaining it a little bit better. I think the first time I heard about it, I was watching Elon Musk give some talk about giving some speech, and he said something along the lines, and maybe you guys know the speech I'm talking about. If you're familiar with Elon Musk, where he said they didn't allow talk about alternative realities in the hot tub. And then I looked into the theory, and it didn't make sense to me at first, and then I watched this little cartoon video that kind of explained it, and it made sense to me. I can't really recommend that video, what it was, but yeah, just look for resources if it's not making sense to you, because I might not have explained it well enough. So yeah, and I tend to agree with Nick's theory that if we're definitely not in base reality, which is, well, that's not his. I'm sorry, that's not what he states. But I believe that. Actually, I don't know what he states. Which theory he believes in. I think he does believe in the idea that we're not in base reality. Logically, I think that's the conclusion he comes to. And that doesn't mean he's right, but I agree with him. I speculate that that's the case as well. That this is not base reality. A lot of people have a hard time dealing with that idea. And they think there has to be some kind of ramifications for the concept of us not being in base reality, which there doesn't have to be any ramifications for anything. One, we can't prove that it's true, and it's the fact that it might not be true. Even if we say it's 99.99999% probable, the fact that we can't prove that it is means we can prove it logically, we can't prove it empirically.
And we're here. Thanks for taking us home.
Because there is ramifications for that, and just because this is not base reality that we're living in doesn't mean you have to act a fool either. Right? We can still behave as. I think a lot of times some of the intellectual groups, or maybe intellectual people as well, think we have to follow certain guidelines based on we have to take inaccuracies in the way the physical world's actually built in order to maintain structure. We have to lie to ourselves, basically. Because if we knew the truth, it would be damaging in such a way. And that's, for some people, it's probably true, which is kind of sad.
How about
I could whip something up for you.
I don't know. I've heard some good arguments for lying to
Dig in.
people about this kind of stuff.
Nothing
I
to
don't think
boost
it's
your
true, though,
spirits
but-
like a good meal.
I think we're doing a disservice by not making sure people understand these concepts. And they don't have to have ramifications for how we can still have contracts in the real world, law and order, that kind of stuff. That doesn't have to go away. Just if we're all under the agreement that this is not a real world, we're in a virtual reality, or the probability that we're in a virtual reality is almost certainly true. It's it's an interesting topic. There was
Talk of the town, kid. Thanks to those.
I
a
foresee
Joe Rogan
great things
podcast
on
where
your horizon.
he had that philosopher on. He spends a lot of time. It's a really good podcast actually to go watch. And a lot of Joe Rogan's. I don't watch Joe Rogan's podcast anymore, but a lot of the ones where he has intellectual people on are usually really good because Joe tends to engage him in such a way
Good
that
luck to you.
he asks
Will you
a lot
lend us a
of
hand?
good questions from somebody who maybe doesn't understand things, and he's
Very
willing
well.
to admit that
Do
he
be
doesn't
careful.
understand something. I think for the most part, and continue to prod till he gets his answer. So in this particular episode, he basically the full 2 or 4 hour podcast of him trying to get Nick to explain to him how he can't really grasp the fact that we're not in base reality. Like it doesn't, the logic doesn't figure for him. And then I think even in times where he starts to get it, he can't. He doesn't want to, like his brain won't allow him to. What is this? This is not the same quest, is it? We picked a different quest? Oh no. Oh, that's fine. Hopefully that's fine. And again, I'm not saying that we're definitely are in a virtual world. I'm saying that if we agree that, although I do think we are, but if we both agree that, and by we I mean whoever's listening to this, if we both agree that technology will always increase, and that if human beings, we just lost him there. I don't know why we picked that one. Mistakenly picked that. I got sidetracked there. If we both agree that technology is going to increase, and that if human beings will constantly increase to the end of time, even if it's like 0.0000001% every year, or even worse than that, and that human beings, if capable, would create such a world, virtual world indistinguishable from their own, then we're definitely not in base reality. If we can agree on that, if you guys can understand how the logic works with that, that's all that. I mean, really, I think I've explained it correctly. But I don't know. Dodo.
You're the talk of the town.
I can barely keep up with you.
We want to do this one. We probably did this one. That one.
A
Unfortunate.
fine choice. Take care out there.
Didn't take us too long to get through that though. But yeah, so there's all kinds of interesting stuff like that out there. Yeah. Yeah. Some really smart people out there in the world. Yeah, it always amazes me what people are capable of doing, and I mean, that theorem is not really. I mean, I don't think it's not really that smart, even though he's the first person to come up with it. It's actually pretty simple.
Be sure not to let your guard down.
Logical exercise there, but I mean, he does get a lot of credit for thinking it out and being the first person to postulate it. But just like even the people that made this game, right? I mean, look at this. And I don't know, a lot of smart people out there. I forget what we were talking about sports. I think sports is probably on its last leg. I say again. I think I made that clear. When I say last leg, I don't mean it's going away. It's just not going to be. It's not on the upward trend that it was constantly on for the last 7 years. Even if, you know, here's the other thing too: is the population increases, even if it stagnates, the viewership growth rate, they're still in a good spot, which could be the case. I could believe that. I think growth is finished for them.
Thanks. You're a lifesaver.
But it could just grow just because of population size too. Oh, bro, come on. This truck is definitely trolling us now. Oh, we have to jump into it, that's why. That makes sense. We did manage to farm. We're right here almost. We got in the back of the truck. Did manage to almost to level 10 here, I think. Got a lot of farming in this episode. Actually doing, that was pretty good damage there. But we are wrecking these guys now. Just straight wrecked. This is definitely the new farm level here, for sure.
Keep it up.
Oh, please let me in truck. Oh! Oh my god, this guy's killing me. Yes. I don't know why he gets to... She gets to teleport from halfway across the map. You know, to be honest with you guys, this part of the game right here, Comrades, might actually be longer than the base game. Like if you were to just go straight to the main quest, this might be longer. Potentially. It's possible. I don't know how I follow up the conversation with the, we're not living in base reality, you know, but lost for words. I feel like you either got that and you're like, yeah, that, I already knew that, or that made sense, or you're just like, eh. This guy's an idiot. Which is, you know, that's a fair critique. But it's, again, it's not my theory, though. And, the logic is sound. What would you do if you knew for a fact, with 100% certainty, that you weren't in base reality? I mean, what? You know, I think a lot of people have trouble reconciling that, as they think, for a couple reasons. One, it diminishes any of their accomplishments that they have, which people don't. People like to take a lot of credit for everything that they do, even the stuff they don't do, and or stuff they don't do on their own, rather. And two, I think some of the people are upset with their lot in life and feel like if it was a virtual reality, we're in a virtual world, it seems quite cruel to for someone to program the hand that they were dealt. You know, program, right? Those quotes. And it's kind of hard to reconcile with that, those two things. Totally get that. They're crushing us right now. see another one of these? Yeah, I guess so. Oh, the trunk, the truck is a small guy, sir. Why are you booing me? I'm right! How I feel about it?
Well, I guess that wasn't.
I think this is episode 5? I don't think we're at the halfway point for this this game either. Ghostly Ghost Man. I wish I had chosen a different name now. I don't know. I didn't think it was gonna be that serious. At the beginning. So serious. Our damage is going up though. I do like how you can see like a clear progression line. My man Danny McBride.
Coming right up. Here you go.
Pretty good.
How is it?
And let's go. +1 tactician, I think, is what that. Imbue them with new abilities to give yourself an advantage in the. You know, I noticed we didn't get to use like any of the weapons' unique unique traits that we were supposed to be able to. Straight up lied to us about it. This picture, and I don't like it.
What do you say?
11,000. Let me do any of this.
We're bringing the light back to Lucis.
Even more. I wonder if this is going to go all the way. Probably up to here. Probably.
See ya.
You're the talk of the
I foresee great
Kinda
things
curious
on
where that
your
one went.
horizon.
No, still level 9 is probably the best one we can do. Maybe we can farm this one now that we're 10.
Good luck to you.
I don't know. Alright guys, that's going to do it for this episode of Final Fantasy 15 Comrades. As usual, like, comment, and subscribe. This will probably be the last recording session for this series. As I got to get the first one uploaded to the internet. But yeah, we'll see you guys tomorrow for more Comrades. Until then, take care. See you guys next time. See you guys.